Hello, it's Sunday, July 28th, 2019, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. Okay, so it's episode 150 today, and as a special treat, I've got someone with me. And
hello.
Yes, it's Nora. Yes. I know everybody loves it when Nora is on, and she doesn't understand why, but you all do, and it's really cool. So say hi.
Hello again.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here, I guess.
So we don't really have a plan as usual. I kind of fly by the seat of my pants when I do my own, and yeah. So I did that episode with Claire on her podcast.
Okay.
And she had like questions and a plan and all that, and really made me feel kind of inadequate.
I'm pretty sure Claire wouldn't like you feeling inadequate because she approached it differently than you.
Well, she did a more professional job than I did.
She had a different approach.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe better. But
wow.
Yeah.
You just can't let it go.
No, I can't. And so we're going to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
Today. I talked on the last episode I did about my being a good dad or not. And yeah, so I was hoping to get like your opinions on like things you see me do that are like putting myself down or not giving myself credit. I know you've talked to me about being nicer to myself.
Yeah.
And not beating myself up. But that's a little bit different than what I'm looking at right now. Like this is as far as...
Yeah, but I guess I feel compelled to ask you a question in return.
Sure. Yeah.
What is it that you do give yourself credit for?
Nothing.
Right.
Right. Yeah. But if you've seen specific examples, then... I think I'm amazed that people listen to this podcast, right? I'm amazed. Oh, I didn't tell you. Somebody bought a copy of my book the other day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, first time in months. So
nice.
Yeah. So like, I don't believe anybody who says like the book was okay or, anything really.
Right.
And I mean, you married me, so you must see something different.
Oh, I see all kinds of things different. I think we established that. I mean, I think you're a great husband. You don't give yourself credit for that. I think you're an amazing dad. And I know your girls think so. And I know my kids think so.
How do you know that? Have you asked them?
I point blank asked my son the other day.
Oh.
He and I were walking and I said, so Grandpa sent this note to JP and he didn't believe it. And what do you think? And he was like, yeah, he's super cool. I can't say he's a great dad because he's not my dad, but he's a great stepdad. So. Okay. Well. And not that he's ever had another stepdad, but.
Right.
I did date someone else for a while before.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't so into him.
No?
No.
No.
Mm. Neither of my kids were.
Oh.
No. Oh. Yeah, which is tough, right?
Yeah.
It would be a tough way to make a blended family, whereas with you, they were very comfortable right from the start and they continue to like having you around.
Okay.
So I don't think you give yourself credit for the things you know about either. So like, hung up light fixtures today.
Yeah.
And I was watching and I was like, honestly, I would have no idea where to even start with that project.
Oh.
And you just like, done. Like.
Yeah, but that's just hanging up lights. I mean,
but do you see where this is you not giving yourself credit? I mean, we could take a poll of your listeners and find out how many of them would know how to do that. But as I watched you, I realized that I would have had to like Google it or pull out one of my home handy books and look at what the steps should be. I didn't.
Yeah, but
why are the things you know not valuable?
So, like, Kara and I talked about this a little bit, right? And I can't remember if I said this. My listeners are used to me repeating myself. Yeah. So, like, I have a hard time giving myself credit for anything if I know that there's like a bunch more that I don't know or that I could be doing better.
Okay, but that's just the thing. You don't give yourself credit for what you do know, and you don't recognize like that you're ahead of other people. No, none of us know all there is to know about everything. Right?
Right.
You know stuff I don't know. I know stuff you don't know.
Right, I know.
That's
but it feels.
But why don't you get you give me credit for the things I know.
Well, yeah. Because you're special.
Really?
Yeah.
But you don't deserve that same credit for the things you know.
It just feels like empty and hollow and shallow and like, I don't know. Even to say that I think I'm humble feels like I'm bragging. and a really humble person wouldn't say that.
Wow,
right?
you've got yourself in such a like twist on these things.
Yeah, but I don't know how to get out.
Well,
I mean,
right, I don't either. That's kind of Kara's domain.
Right.
But one of the things I think she's talked to you about is actually forcing yourself to give yourself acknowledgement for those things, right?
I'm trying, but I mean, it's not like a 5-minute thing, right?
Oh, no.
So, but I'm not very good with the patience. You may have noticed.
Mm-hmm.
And
only with yourself, really.
Usually,
you're much more patient with everyone else than you are. With yourself.
I think you're more patient than I am, though.
Only with the dogs,
maybe. So, like, what was I going to say? I was going to say something.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
I think
So, like with the parent thing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. So, I mean, I don't trust myself.
I know.
Right? So, like saying, I'm a good dad, I'm a good dad, I'm a good dad, I'm a good husband, I'm a good husband.
Doesn't get through because you don't believe yourself.
I don't believe it. And
but
I don't believe that I'm capable of knowing that I am so.
But you don't believe me when I say it, and you don't believe...
I believe you think it.
But you don't believe that it's actually true.
Right.
So am I a liar?
No. But like, so without having specific reason, like I just assume you're misguided. Like for no specific reason.
That's not as nice an opinion of me as I'd like you to have.
Well, misguided isn't... Well, misguided meaning like you were misdirected, not that you're...
Like you fooled me?
Yeah, not like you're la way out there. You don't have a touch on reality. Not misguided like that. But...
Are you lying to me?
I don't think so.
And that's why you think you fooled me?
No. I'm not that good a liar.
I think it starts with the core thing that you don't believe you have value.
Right.
And everything else, if you don't believe you have value, then how could you possibly be a good dad? How could you possibly be a good husband? How could you possibly be knowledgeable about anything? Because you don't have value. But it's wrong.
Okay, but so like how... So just as Nora, not as my wife, like how do you feel good about something about yourself? Like how do you know that you're right? How do you know that it's okay? How do you know that anything?
Well,
I know this is kind of existential.
Yeah,
right?
no, part of it is about the feedback that I get, right? And I was always a seeker of positive feedback, right? Wanting to be a good student, all of those kind of things. Mostly being an obedient daughter, though my parents can tell you about some things I did that were maybe not so responsible. But I sought people's approval. And even yesterday, right, I think at dinner I was sharing that my day had gone well until the end when I had this really difficult conversation with a person at work. So part of the reason my day felt like it had gone well was because I'd had a series of conversations in which people had either collaborated with me on things where we were sharing ideas as we went, or people had reached out and asked me for input, and I'd provided my opinion or my knowledge of history or whatever, and they had been grateful for it, or right. So I'm getting all these little pieces of positive feedback as I go, and that makes me believe that I'm on the right track, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else, but I think at the core, I have some belief that I have value, and so that allows me to hear those things or to receive those things, right? Yeah. And that conversation at the end of the day brought me down because I felt like the guy I was talking to felt like I'd let him down.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not necessarily that what I did was actually wrong, and it wasn't all me, and it wasn't all my decisions, but I felt like he felt like I'd let him down. Mm-hmm. And that had an impact on me. Now, does that mean I'm going to go try to undo everything I did? No. Right? Because I can separate from that, but getting those moments of feedback is important to me. And if, I think about what I know about people who live through emotional abuse, and I think a huge part of it is being told over and over and over and over again that you're not worth anything, and you have no other data, or the other data isn't getting through to convince you otherwise.
Right. But in my case, it's only been me who's been telling me that. Right. Right.
But you're sort of a victim of self-emotional abuse, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So when you're talking about work, right, and people coming for your feedback, right, and so another insight into how messed up I am is if I'm not in a position like that in my job right now, right, but when I have been in a position like that, it's either been one of two things. One, they're trying to see how I don't know something, or
this is what you think.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what they're really doing.
Right. So either that, or this is the time that they're going to realize that I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anytime someone has come to me for advice.
And for me, it definitely depends on who comes to me and my relationship with them and their role in my career, right? So if my boss randomly reaches out and wants to touch base, my brain generally goes to, oh crap, what did I do wrong? Or what am I going to get in trouble for? Or whatever. But, yesterday one of those calls was one of my peers saying, do you have a few minutes? I want to talk through an issue with you. And I want to know what our history as a company has been. Okay. And it was a great conversation, and we knocked around some stuff, and I didn't have a definitive answer for her, but I believe I helped her think through it and gave her a little bit of context of what's been done.
That's good.
Right. But it didn't even remotely occur to me that she was trying to trip me up or, right? Yeah. So this is, I assume this is what you and Kara are working on in this stuff, is how to change your thought patterns around this. Yeah. Because, life's pretty miserable if you think everyone's always out to show you that you don't know anything. Or to catch you not knowing.
I guess more of it is every interaction is an opportunity for me to screw up. Right.
Well, technically, it's an opportunity for all of us to screw up, right? Every interaction. But so is every interaction an opportunity for us to contribute, help, shine, right?
So back in 2014, right, when we were like getting to know each other, and I was not working in a supervisory position at the Home Depot, like for the most part, I was in that place. Like I felt like I was the best person who wasn't a supervisor in the building, just because
you
of
had a
my
lot
experience.
of history, you knew stuff,
Right.
yeah.
So
Which is why I thought it was a good idea for you to go back to being a supervisor, which turned out not to be a good idea.
right. But I mean, you didn't know how messed up I was at that time. But you know, I felt confident in like talking to other aisle associates.
Right.
That's what they were called, right? So like,
and people did come to you for
and like coaching them and training them and stuff like that. But then as soon as I got that little bit of authority back to being a supervisor, it was like even those same aisle associates were like gonna realize that I'm just full of it, or that I'm just running by the seat of my pants.
But I think that was in part because now we're in this new role where there was all this stuff that you weren't familiar with, that you were having to learn, that you were accountable for, right? So it was this whole different dynamic.
Yeah. I mean, I went to work in millwork, and I didn't know anything about doors or windows or any of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that part of it. But I don't know. It really fell apart pretty quick. Yeah. So that's me.
But that's where we've had conversations about whether you ever go study something else and go back to school and whatnot, right? And I mean, I don't remember you as a student. I haven't known you as a student, right? But I feel like you almost need to create opportunities to learn stuff and see that you can do that you can continue to expand your knowledge and grow that way, because I think your assumption is that you can't.
Yeah.
And so it's that, like, what degree of discomfort do we create to challenge you to have the opportunity to have some success with it?
Yeah, I probably I think right now that like I am unable to have maybe not mastery, but really solid working knowledge of a new topic.
Why do you think that?
I just do. I don't. I feel like I just feel like I do. I lack the focus, the concentration needed, the whatever to master. And mastery is kind of advanced, right?
And I kind of say bullshit to that.
Well, you can say that. And you can say that on my podcast only once an episode.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm a clean podcast. Thank you.
You are a smart guy. This is yet another thing that you don't give yourself credit for being intelligent. But you are. I'm not the only one who sees you that way. Right?
Okay.
We've talked about.
I know we have talked about this.
We have talked about this. So, I mean, for me, it all comes back to like, how do we prove it to you?
I don't know. I don't know, because my gut initial instinct is to minimize all that, right?
And to avoid it.
Yeah.
Like, you don't seek out. I mean, you learned all about Bermuda grass today, right?
Yeah.
You know all kinds of shit about Bermuda grass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
See, there you go. Yeah.
You can edit that out. You learned all kinds of stuff about Bermuda grass today that I don't know anything about. You taught me stuff.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's a little thing, but learning is an accumulation of little things. You don't walk into a class and go from I've never studied this topic to I'm an expert in this topic in 20 minutes, right?
Right.
This goes back to you not having patience with yourself. Like,
right. Yeah, I don't know. So, like, you said, like, how are we going to get you to believe this stuff?
Yeah.
Right. So, I don't think I didn't tell you, but back in 2014, right, when I was just an aisle associate,
yeah.
right, every year they had like customer service awards.
Yeah.
And like they picked 2 or 3 people who displayed outstanding customer service, right? And so I was one of them, right? So I won $500 for doing that, right? And I thought it was just laughable.
So it's interesting because in talking to you in those days and hearing about you at work, my sense was that you spent a fair amount of time avoiding interacting with people.
Right. But remember, like customers, I didn't mind so much.
But I was going to say, when I saw you, like we went to visit that store when I was in town and maybe for me to meet some of your colleagues or whatever.
Probably Sam.
Probably.
Yeah.
But like some customer was looking for help and you were walking past, right? And you're not even working.
Right.
And you stopped and helped her. And I could see that dynamic and why you would get rated as being strong at customer service. Because when you focus on someone and you're trying to help them, like you display a high degree of caring and commitment to listening to them and understanding what their thing is and then helping them resolve it. I mean, you do that with me, you do that with the kids, whether it's the girls in their math homework, whatever. Right. I see that all the time from you. And I actually think that's why I've said that you having a profession that involves that kind of caring makes sense to me.
Okay. So, Kate, right? Kate in Australia. She sent me a message on Facebook, and this was like with the whole being a good dad.
Yeah.
So she suggested that I like write out what is like just like a basic dad, what's a good dad, what's a very good dad, what's a perfect dad, right?
If there is such a thing as the last one. But,
right.
Okay.
But just as a way of like
laying it out.
Yeah, right. So when you talk about like engaging with a customer or engaging with the kids or with you, like, isn't that just like basic stuff? Like, isn't that what should be like minimal expectation?
Maybe what should be in a customer service related role, but God, not what people do. Including me. When I was in customer service jobs, I was crabby. I was not good. You remember the lady helping us with sandwiches at Subway?
Oh, on
the trip?
Yeah.
Who was all crabby? I was her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Great. Glad I didn't know you then.
There's just something that I see as a unique skill or a special skill that you have that doesn't come to all of us about taking that care. I think a lot of people get frustrated with customers or annoyed by customers, or, you know, they in a store setting, sometimes you have like projects you're supposed to be getting done and all these other things, and customers kind of get in the way of that.
Yeah.
And sometimes customers don't seem like the brightest bulbs on the tree because they don't know what they're doing, right? And people get there are a lot of people in customer service roles who get frustrated and crabby with customers for all those reasons. You have a very different style and a different approach. It's the same like after the first cruise when you met my nephew who's on the autism spectrum, and my dad commented about how good you are with him. But I think it's because you sort of give an extra focus to that person and you sort of meet them where they are and do what you can for them. And there are a lot of people who don't do that.
Okay, but so from my side though, right? Like from my side, that's like...
This is you not giving yourself credit.
This is like, but that's like basic entry level interaction. Like that's what should be expected. And so like that's how I see myself. Like I'm just doing what should be done.
So you're not giving yourself credit for the fact that you actually do it better than a lot of people do.
I don't know that I do. So
I believe that you do, based on my experience.
Well, based on your experience of being a crabby.
Well, no, based on my observation of other people in customer service roles too.
So then like if I'm rating myself as a dad, right? Like
that may be a flawed approach to begin with, but
most of what I do as a dad, that I see myself doing as a dad, is like basic rudimentary, like this is your child, this is how you are a parent, and if we're going to be sexist, be a father to your child, right? I don't, like in my parent-child relationship with my girls, like they're the exceptional ones and I'm the one who's like just hanging on, trying to keep up. So like I don't, and it actually feels like I'm being disrespectful to them if I take more credit for the people that they are. Like they're the ones who are...
Well, parenting is weird that way because we can only guide them, right? There's a huge portion of it that is absolutely them.
Right.
We give them opportunities, we give them support. Right. So what I'm thinking listening to you is that you have this idea of what a parent should be or a customer service associate should be. And it probably is what they should be. Maybe a little more than the baseline. But where the breakdown comes in is the reality of what is around you. So,
yeah, but reality of what is shouldn't affect my value system, I think. So my value system should be independent of how life really is.
Okay, you talked about grading yourself as a dad. So when we're in school and we get graded,
right,
it is relative to the performance of others.
Only if it's graded on a curve. And not all classes are graded on a curve, right?
But there's an expectation that's built around what is achievable for a student that's based on the average capabilities and responses, right?
Okay, yeah.
And I feel like you don't take into account any of that other stuff. So part of the struggle with giving yourself credit is you're looking at it saying, what are all the things between where I am and what ideal state is? But you're never looking and saying, okay, well, maybe I should consider what's the difference between where I am and where the average person is.
Yeah, but that doesn't feel right. That doesn't... One, I shouldn't be judging other people, right? I mean, obviously, if you're like a deadbeat dad or, you know, a total jackass of a dad, then...
Who's using bad language now?
No, that's not a bad word.
Oh.
Ass is not a bad word.
Okay.
It's in the Bible. So...
In reference to a mule?
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, like, to that extent, I can say, yeah, I'm better than a deadbeat dad. I'm better than, you know, a drunken dad. I'm better than
You're not
an abusive dad.
Yeah.
Like those things, okay.
You're not absent, right?
I feel absent. That's not, yeah, that's a tough one to say. So.
Okay, but the other father of your older girls, he was absent.
Yeah.
Much more so than you.
Right.
Like, so, that's a different level of absence to me.
Okay.
So, all right. I don't know. That's my observation. That part of it is you can't give yourself credit for what you actually do.
Yeah.
And so then your perception is all focused on where your deficiencies are. And in all things, we are all going to have deficiencies.
Yeah. But I don't know if it's a second layer or if it's the same thing. But like, so, I mean, I'm just kind of exploring, right? But so, like, not only do I not recognize maybe what's good, but like I won't allow myself to see past what I don't do.
Why?
Because that's flaw.
So is your expectation that you should be perfect?
I think in order to give myself credit, then I should be perfect. I don't think I have the capability to be perfect.
Do you know anyone who's perfect?
Probably not, no. But in order to give myself credit...
So do they all not deserve credit?
No.
All those other imperfect people?
Because they're not me.
But do you see how overly hard that is?
It's not logical. I know. I get it. Mental illness is not logical. If it was logical, I'd be out of it.
Yeah.
I'd be way
You'd
past
logic
it.
your way out of it.
I'd be way past it. Right. But
it's just like no human being is perfect at anything. I firmly believe that. Even, you know, if we look at world-class athletes, right? They're still not perfect.
Usain Bolt was pretty close.
But I bet if you asked him, he could talk to you about the bad runs he had or the races he lost or something, right? I mean, you know, basketball players come to my mind. Like, Larry Bird was a phenom, was a big deal. He still missed shots. He still, like, screwed things up. We're human. We do. Even when we're great at something, we don't do it perfectly.
Yeah, but I know that, and I don't expect that I ever will be perfect at anything.
But then you don't ever give yourself credit.
But I won't. I at this point, I cannot give myself credit.
So I think
because there are deficiencies.
So I think one of the things that you maybe need to, it's an idea I have, I guess. I don't know if you need to, but perhaps part of it is the language approach of being able to say, I understand that I'm not a perfect dad. That doesn't mean I can't be a good dad. I'm not even claiming to be a great dad.
I think I can be a good dad. I don't think that I am. I mean, it just...
So that goes to Kate's thing about like, okay, so what's a perfect dad? What's a great dad? What's a good dad?
Yeah.
Why do you not measure up to that good dad yardstick? I think it's a good question.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, also, like, just in my, like, lizard brain thinking, right? So, like, first response thinking, right, is like, what kind of a person goes around thinking that they're good at stuff? And I'm not saying I guess like more like what kind of person would I be if I went around thinking, hey, like I'd feel smug, I'd feel arrogant.
Day to day, as I go, I don't run around thinking I'm good at stuff. But I have moments where I've gotten that positive feedback or something has gone well or whatever, and I think, I'm kind of good at that. Mm-hmm. If you went around thinking it all the time, yeah, that would be arrogance. But we all have things that we do well, and at least giving ourselves credit for those moments when we've had something we did well, I think is valuable. I mean, also, there's plenty of things that I'm not good at, and I'll let myself know that too, right?
Yeah.
But
so I'll say from like a year ago, right? Like I don't beat myself up like I used to.
Okay.
So
that's good.
So that's like a little win, right?
Yeah.
I still do, but not
as bad.
Like I don't swear at myself really so much anymore. But like as far as like feeling good about something, right? So I told you I've gotten like more emails lately from, long time listener, first time caller kind of thing. And like they'll say something nice and I recognize it as nice, but there's such a disconnect between...
You're not willing to accept that what they're saying is valid because it flies in the face of your own self-view. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad that people find value in listening to the show. And I mean, I've got enough emails that I understand why they find value in it. But I don't take any credit for that. I don't take any self-worth or self-satisfaction out of that.
So you don't get credit for continuing to put the show out and making a point of...
I don't feel it. I mean, I think other people give me credit, but I don't...
But you could easily stop at any time.
Right.
And you don't.
Right.
You don't get credit for that? For sticking with it? For 150 episodes?
So you're going to make me say that it's... because I don't think it's that good.
I'm not asking you if it's good. That's not what we're talking about in this moment.
But anybody could continue to put out crap.
But other people are telling you that it's valuable to them.
Right. But in my mind, it always, again, it could always be better. So because it could be better, it's not. I can't derive value from it personally.
Wow. Like, professionally, right? I have those moments where I think, hey, I'm kind of good at this. Does that mean there aren't many moments where I could have done better, can do better, will do better in the future? Those are my opportunities to grow and learn and challenge myself. That doesn't mean I don't get credit for what I do now. That just means I see those opportunities to be better and I can work on them.
Yeah.
So you listen to all kinds of podcasts.
I do.
And are those podcasts perfect?
Some of them are pretty close, yeah.
So what is so much better about those than yours? Other than like production value because they've got, big backing behind them. Because that's not fair.
Right. I don't know. I like them, so I'm biased. Right. So.
And all these people who are listening to you right now like your podcast.
So they're biased.
Great. They're biased toward you.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I'm not sure any of us can function and not be biased. I mean, liking things is a bias, right?
Right.
Disliking things is a bias also.
Right, but you asked me if like any of them are perfect.
Right.
And because I'm biased, I can
But
come
how
close
many
to thinking
podcasts
that.
have you started listening to and been like, this is garbage, and stopped listening to it?
Oh, a lot.
So the fact that people keep listening means that, at least for those people,
Yeah.
it's not garbage. And I think you get something out of it. So even if all of those people are wrong,
Mm-hmm.
if it provides some therapeutic mechanism for you that helps you in your journey towards better mental health, maybe that's enough.
Oh, maybe.
No, you need something that's gonna like be world renowned and make millions of dollars.
No. Gosh, no.
I'm just trying to like
No.
figure out where does it become of value?
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't for me. I don't know.
Why do you keep doing it if there's no value?
Because the people who I know who keep listening, and I feel...
That goes back to that caring thing.
I don't know. I just feel a tug to keep doing it for others. So, and I've talked about that before. Like I started and it was me. You know, it was for me.
Yeah.
And then I started getting emails, and somewhere along the line it became not so much therapeutic for me. But yeah, I mean, I'm not foolish enough to think that there must be something that I'm getting from it, whether I can acknowledge it or see it or...
Well, even if it's just that there's some little moment of positive feedback from getting those emails or getting tweets or getting whatever.
Yeah.
And that's a connection. I mean, you don't have a robust social life.
No, I don't.
That's a point of connection for you with other people who you feel like you can actually relate to, because I think there's a lot of people who you can't.
Yeah.
Or you're not interested in relating to. I'm not really sure. But
yeah. So, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm about to start rambling. We've been talking for a while.
We have.
So your wine glass is empty?
It is.
It is empty. So it's time to get going.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
So
I hope I added some value.
I think you did. As long as the microphone worked and
this actually got recorded.
then
and people can hear me.
Yep. Then that'll be great.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. And so thank you.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, 150 episodes. Woohoo.
It's pretty impressive. When you started doing this, I didn't have any vision of you still doing it today and having that many episodes.
Yeah, and it's only been just over like 3 years. Like I think Claire mentioned, but it doesn't seem right because that's like an episode a week.
Yeah, you didn't always do an episode a week. You had some gaps.
Yeah, so it's just surprising to me that it's like I feel like there's a math error somewhere, but I think 150 is right.
Well, I'm sure we could also determine what the date of the first one was, right? There's a record of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So that's that. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And everybody, thanks for listening, and be safe and be well.